Good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar. We're talking about BIM for the local authority. For those of you who've first time attending one of these, we do have regular sessions or webinars on all different kinds of subjects. If you're interested in other kind of webinars, please feel free to check out our website under events. Okay, just a bit of overview of me. I'm Gareth Spencer. I'm one of the BIM consultants here at GrayTech. I've been working at GrayTech just over a year now. I came from industry 4 years ago to do this kind of role as an application specialist. My background is predominantly engineering, mainly structures, but MEP as well. I'm a Revit user, an AutoCAD user, and have been for a good number of years now. So just a brief overview of the agenda today. So we're looking at the understanding of the government mandate for this year. So as of this year, any government projects will have to be performed in BIM, and how the mandate affects us by 2025. So working with central models within the local government, sharing data externally to consultants, achieving repetition work initially, automated information, and working with external consultants. So just briefly, I'm going to talk to you a bit about GrayTech and what we are and what we do. So we are a global reseller across not just the UK, Europe, and now across the world. We offer a wide range of BIM solutions, some being our own and some being obviously with Autodesk. And also we have platinum partnership with Autodesk, which means we've got to give you the best possible service, which we always do. The solutions that we offer are not just for the AEC space, for manufacturing, infrastructure, and also plant and oil industry. We have a large number of offices around the world. We have a vast experience of people, not just from CAD background, but from BIM and other design solutions. We are one of the biggest platinum partners across the world, and we have helped out a number of customers over the years, helping implement all their needs and requirements. We have a large number of staff, again across the world, with a small team that look at R&D, so we can develop products of our own and products and solutions for our clients. We have people like myself who are skilled engineers who've come from a background of industry and have a good understanding of the software, so we can help with your needs. So I'll just give you a quick overview. This is where we are in the world. As you'll see highlighted in blue, there's a few places that we look after throughout the world now. Predominantly in European and UK, we have 5 offices in the UK covering a vast area of the country. We look after, like I said earlier, a number of solutions throughout the industry. Obviously, the AC space is one that I look after, and obviously we have colleagues that look after things like the manufacturing, the plant and oil industry, infrastructure, etc. So, just to start off with this seminar, we're going to look at what is BIM. And before we do, we need to talk about how we normally look at construction. So the first thing we'd normally look at is the actual communication, how we actually communicate our data. So traditionally, it's in a 2D format in the form of things like CAD, and we'd issue normally with things like paper and possibly DWG format drawings. Collaborating with the supply chain is always not the easiest thing. So some of the things that we wouldn't share very much information early on, and we'd provide a lot more later on. Potentially, could we trust that information? Possibly not, because it may not be correct. And was it the latest data that we would provide? One thing that some people don't consider is looking at new software, new technology to help them do their projects or work considerably, and take advantage of the tools that can help them or you move forward with a new solution. So what is BIM? For those of you who haven't heard of BIM or don't really know much about BIM, BIM is, well, it's Building Information Modeling is the title. It's a process, not a software. Although I'll be demonstrating some software today, it's not all about what it is as a three-dimensional, for example, software. Okay. So why BIM? Why now? Well, Building Information Modeling, in the terms of what we're going to look at today, is intelligent model-based process which provides a value across the life cycle of a project. So if you think about, we may build a building or some kind of structure in three-dimensional format. That can be a data-rich model with a lot of technical information provided behind that. So for example, we've got a door in there, we've got all the product information from that door, from the manufacturer, which we can data drop out of the model and provide to anyone within the design team, contractors, consultants, and can be used over the life cycle of the building when you're talking of things like FM. So things that drive BIM, more efficient workflows. Okay, so we're looking to us as a whole to collaborate the information between consultants, contractors, clients, anyone that may be working with the building from the build part of it all the way through its life cycle and decommission. Some of the other aspects, for example, it should make it greater predictability when creating the actual building model, so you can help produce the data that you require at that time, and also for later references. It should increase the accuracy. Obviously, in the days of CAD, someone could alter a drawing, just change something manually. For example, the dimension, say it was 4 meters, then it just change it manually to 5 meters. That would be incorrect. The drawing would be wrong. The potential problems you'd have, obviously, is information could be overlaid in the incorrect position. With the three-dimensional model, it's a little bit different because obviously you're modeling up as the building will look like in the design. Potentially that's going to stop all these kind of issues. Obviously it's not going to stop everything because there is human error. It should also improve the project outcome. So if you consider, you design what you want, you build what you need, which is hopefully the same thing. One key thing as well, for those who are the client, it gets a better understanding on what the building is going to look like before you actually go and get it on site. So there's a lot less changes before you get to site. So a couple of things that we need to consider is the intelligence. So what would we get out of that? So a collaborative workflow, so you can collaborate with all the design team, consultants in that instance, the builder, the contractor, the subcontractors, and the client. You can help simulate and look at performance issues before you actually build it. So heat analysis, wind analysis, things like that, solar analysis of the building. You can change the design before or during the process, and it makes it easier to do that as well. Also, there's a couple of other things you need to consider as well, is obviously construction. A number of RFIs are always thrown back and forth during a project. This should hopefully be reduced. One, saving time, hopefully improving the safety of the project as well. And then we're looking at increasing the accuracy, reducing the cost. The government obviously put this in place to make sure that we can do things like that. And hopefully, with this lovely three-dimensional model you can create, you can use it over and over again throughout the life cycle of a project. So if we consider initially, we wouldn't use models. Predominantly most things in the past was done in 2D in CAD or drawing. So moving across to a model-based design is a little bit different. It's going a bit more beyond the two-dimensional construction, where we still can provide the 2D information, but we're putting it in the aspects of a digital model, which is data rich, it's intelligent. There's all sorts of components which are manufacturing related information, and you can get that information directly out of the model in forms of drawings, schedules, images, etc. So the information will be there, and it will be there for the life cycle of the building, so you or any one of the user can look at the actual model, edit it, add new things in, remove information that's not required anymore, and change data when required. It's obviously a collaborative workflow between all the different disciplines. So for example, you can have a 3D model from an architect, one from an MEP engineer, or a structural engineer, civil engineer, etc., with all the associated data from each one in there. One thing it does require, and this is what the supply chain are probably getting a lot of work on the moment, is it should hopefully get repeat business, make it easier for the supply chain to interact with people, because obviously they can provide their data in the form of a model or model components which can be used by the consultants. You'll be able to look at the construction of the actual structure before or after it's completed, so you can see what was there and what should be there and what was built. So if we look at the approach of what's being delivered, obviously it's an automated design which can still produce the documentation and deliverables that you would do before. So we've not really changed it anyway, but it's just the model itself is getting more intelligent than just a two-dimensional drawing. You can look at design, energy regulations during this process, so you can design the information a lot easier inside a model than actually doing it in 2D. You can look at retrospectively visualizations beforehand and animations or walkthroughs through the building or structure to see what it's going to look like potentially before you complete it. One thing that clients certainly look at is making sure they get the best value for money, and if something's not quite right, they would like to change it. If it can be changed early on in the design, it will affect less changes during the construction. So one thing that BIM is probably certainly helping out contractors is definitely the construction and simulation of the actual project and managing the data. They can utilize tools that can actually simulate the actual construction, so the progress of the building and the site. And then the QS will also be another one here where they can take off the quantities and cost plan a lot better, because they've got an accurate three-dimensional model with all the technical data associated into it. Rather than taking information off a 2D drawing, they can utilize the 3D model and take the information from there. So looking at the government strategy, obviously from this year, the government mandate states that we must require a level 2 BIM. Okay. And obviously going forward, the government and the construction industry are looking to join together and aspire to achieve the following. So 33% reduction in overall cost of construction and the whole life of the asset of the building or structure, whatever that may be. 50% reduction in overall time of completion of new and refurbished assets. 50% reduction in greenhouse gases, emissions into the built environment, and a 50% reduction in trade gap between the total exports and total imports of construction products and materials. Okay. As of the target for this year, obviously they are looking at reducing capital cost and construction time, reducing the number of accidents on site, but also looking at making it more productive and the turnover and the profits increase as well. So hopefully that BIM will help push that forward, and those percentages will be there or thereabouts, or if not better, in all the projects working on. One thing that people don't really consider or haven't in the past, because obviously it's been hard to just show the model to everybody, is showing a model data. So that is Coby, so that's a construction operations building information exchange, showing data in other formats to other people. So for example, Coby was predominantly adopted by America, and then we adopted it over here in the UK. It's a way to share the data, so non-graphical data, to anyone within a project or after the project's finished in the life cycle, to clients, to manufacturers, to any consultant maybe working on this in the future, in the form of a spreadsheet. So all the data that's been put into a model can be exported out in the form of a spreadsheet with all the, hopefully, with the information that's been placed in there for anyone to use, whether it be now or later on down the line. A few of you, if you know much about BIM and what's going on with BIM, you may have seen this graph in a number of different forms over the years. So starting obviously at level 0 is predominantly your two-dimensional CAD information, moving along into level 1 and aspiring this year into level 2 with the collaborated information with models, sharing data and coordinating information properly. We aspire to be level 3, but at the moment it's not physically possible with certain issues, obviously collaborating the data properly in one data-rich place. Obviously that is being looked at the moment, so whenever we find out more, hopefully that will be a solution that we can utilise and move forward. There is a number of documents which support BIM level 2, and I'm just highlighting them all on the screen here. Starting with some BS's, BS 1192 2007, and now we have PAS 1192 Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 and Part 5 recently coming out. There is a number of documents obviously are free, some you have to pay for now because they are now British standards, but all this documentation will be there to help support anyone that's moving into BIM, anyone that's utilising BIM in the future. And for those who are just starting out, good luck and enjoy reading all them documents. So if we have a look at, for example, PAS 1192, this was brought out a good few years ago now, but it's aimed at a guidance document to help you or anyone that's working on with BIM for your BIM execution plans, your project implementation, naming conventions and coordinating information, and hopefully the level of detail of information that's going to be provided. Certainly good bedtime reading. So BS 1192 and PAS 1192 Part 2 should help you managing the data specifically, so and how the data is actually utilised on a project. So we can specify a stage of where we're at the project, whether that be work in progress, whether that be issued for construction, or even as a final issue as issued for as built. Level of detail of the information that's provided in the model. Obviously from an early stage concept, the detail would not be required to be so heavy, but as we go through the design, the detail of the information will get heavier. So for example, we may just have a concept of a few masses within a model coming through to design. We'll then produce more detailed models all the way through to construction and handover with hopefully a more detailed model for the end users to see with all the components that should be built within there. The BS 1192 is there to help you set up and guidance with your layering systems and naming conventions of your models / drawings. So you can see that whoever provides information, it's detailed, it's easy to read, it's easy to utilize with inside your model or drawing. And then we have PAS 91 2013, which helps with the lovely PPQ questions that you may get given on a project or actually provide within a project. So this will help potential suppliers enable a pre-qualification for construction. Employers also got an requirement as well. So for example, a client will employ someone to do the project, and they need to specify the information required. So there's a document designed to help with tender documentation and procurement for both design team and the contractor. So this will is required to be edited during the process for each stage, and the standard responsibilities have been included, and in many classes in many cases, these can be adopted without amendment. Obviously, these need reviewing and confirming before the issues are ensured that there are no project issues when they're taken into consideration or in count. Oops, sorry, I do apologise, going too quick. And obviously we have another one here, PAS 1192 Part 3, which is your asset management. So basically taking it further on and transferring it over to the owner and utilising the information later on through the facilities management. A nice report which was issued, or they have done them for the last few years. The MBS do an annual report on BIM and how it's utilised in the country. So you can look in there for yourselves and see what current use of BIM is, what people are doing on it, and what level they're sort of like at the moment. So I'll just give you a bit of a demonstration on what I'm talking about here. So I'm just going to switch in first of all onto AutoCAD. So predominantly, most of us will have AutoCAD drawings in the format of DWG format. You may obviously have them in PDF. And a lot of the data now, it may be provided more into a three-dimensional element. So, for example, we could have a school here, which is built in AutoCAD with all the technical information in here, although it be not very intelligent. So for example, I can come in here, I know that's a wall because I select it, it tells me it's a wall on a layer. Not much else I can do with that. If I need to change something, obviously I can update this drawing, but I'll have to make sure that I update every plan, section, elevation. The information is not very data rich. Yes, I can probably do spreadsheets as well, but I have to keep them up to date, all the information provided in here. So instead, rather than looking at the AutoCAD, let's have a look into Revit here. So I've got a very basic model in here. Now if I just quickly go into a view, so for example this is a small primary school. If I was to go in here, I've got a data rich model. Okay, now if let's look at this into more of a 3D environment. So you'll see here there is my my model. Okay, that model can be anything that you have, any asset. I mean, I'm using a school here, but it could just be any asset that's there. So you consider everything's modeled up in three-dimensional. First of all, if I select a wall, you'll see we can set the height, the thickness, the width, the length, the materials that it's applied to that, so it finishes correctly within here. Within the properties of the element as well, we can get some technical information which we can schedule inside the application. So for example, if I wasn't happy with that wall style, I can go in here and change the different wall style to another one, which would update for that wall's height. You see here that's done. And obviously I can go around and do the same with the others. The great thing about it is obviously the model will quickly build up, so I'll produce all my information. So for example, here's my plan views. I can instantly put a window in there into the wall. I can change that window. For example, this is a curtain wall. Obviously I can put in any style of window, door, etc. in here. So for example, if I came over to here, this is currently a door here. It's an interior door, double type B2. I can go in and I can select a different style, shape or size of door. And what Revit does, it helps you quickly change information inside the model. So as you'll see, this data can be stored within here, no matter whether it's a door, window, etc. If something needs to be changed, it's an quick and easy fix. Okay, so for example, if someone needs to move a door, we can simply take the door, we can move this information and place it elsewhere within the model. Okay, it's a quick and easy instant change. And what will happen with that? That's instantly updated our model, and the information provided will be updated as well. We can take a quick section view through the model or elevation view wherever we need to. So for example, I'm just going to take a section view looking down that corridor. And if I go into that view, you'll see, although it not being very clean at the moment, if I just clean up a little bit, you can see here I've quickly got a section through, so I can have a look what impact my change may make. Okay, you can see there's my door. I can always change that style and go for something else. You'll see in here I can go and change from the library or bring and download another family or component in from the manufacturer. So it's a quick and easy way to just edit the information that I'm working with within here. Excuse me. So once you've got the intelligent model, all the data you've placed in, now this is just an architecture model here. I'll show you an MEP model in a moment, but all the data we've placed in, we can place in the schedule information. So you'll see here I have a door schedule. This door schedule relates to all the information in the model. So you'll see I've got all the door schedule for ground floor, for first floor. I've got the room name, room number, I've got the family type, I've got its rough height and width. I've also got the panel height and data as well. And it's telling me how many there are. There's no fire requirement yet, but that information can be provided at any time and populated as we require. All that information can then be added to a drawing, so we can populate drawing information as quickly as possible to demonstrate this is what potentially it's going to look like or could look like. All this information is there, and it's there for the life cycle of the actual the model. So for example, if we came back in 5 years time and need to extend on there, we simply can do that and keep the existing model as it is. We can demolish information where required if needed. So I'll just switch into another model here. You'll see this one's a little bit bigger, and you can see it's quite a detailed model. So we can actually look at what it's potentially going to look like before we even start. So it's stopping any issues that we may come across, any design changes that we can look at. So for example, we weren't happy with that roof, we can do that before we get to site, or we actually look at things like cost as well while we're doing this. So all the information in here provided, obviously we can easily go to a view and create this information. One good thing about it is if, for example, certain information changes, so for example if I update this wall, the area that we've looked at in this classroom can update as well. So what it's doing is obviously adjusting the information appropriately in there. Okay, it's a simple way, and we can simply edit anything wherever and however we require. We can look at the coordinated information. For example, we have a reflective ceiling plan here with the lights in there. We can also look at bringing our M&E kit in and seeing how this is coordinated within here as well. So if I just do that, you'll see as we bring the information in, I just find the file. Okay, so I'm going to bring this information in. You'll see it will coordinate the data within inside the model. Okay, so I now have brought the information in here. Can you see there is the MEP information within the model? Now if I go to my my view here, obviously I won't see my three-dimensional mechanical information in here, but I could always duplicate and create as many different views within here if I wanted to. So for example, I can change the discipline, change the discipline of the view. There you go, it's done it. And show the data associated in there, so I can see all my mechanical information in there. So my pipework, my ductwork, my electrical information can be easily shown within the actual model, so I can look at this. Okay. Now this is an intelligent model, so all that data is in there. As long as I put the right manufactured information in, obviously I can select that data, and you'll see within the properties I can see that data and associate what it is. So all that information is easily coordinated. It can be updated at any point. Okay, it can be added to, it can be changed wherever required. So if we look on later on down the line, maybe a few years down the line, we need to change something, it's easily representative to change that. Okay, so all the information you've got here, you'll see we can populate from a drawing. We can also see all the data in here, and we can utilize. All the information that provided, like I say, will be in a schedule, and we can utilize that schedule over and over however we need to. We can export it out and give to a client wherever required, and they can utilize that information wherever they need to. Obviously Revit is it's a good data information, it's a great place to utilize the data. For example, if you work with a consultant later on, you can always utilize that information by sending the model and giving them the information in a three-dimensional format. They can then obviously add to that construction going forward. So if we look at what we can do, obviously that's a quick overview of what Revit can do, but if we go into the services that we can offer and how we can help move forward, we are not just a reseller and trainer of Autodesk software. We have consultants within our organisation and teams of people to be able to help you discover the tools that you need to use. You can also plan the training that you require and look at your standards to help implement new software if you are going down the route of using things like Revit. We have teams of people that help with the deployment of plans for BIM, so help with the PPQs, things like that. Put BIM deployment plans together. We can even come and assist you and help with a project, mentor you through improving how you work with the software, working through a project that may be difficult. Excuse me. And we're here not just to help with that, but we've got a number of people within our organisation to help with your needs, whether it be in the form of the AC space or across other diverse disciplines within manufacturing and infrastructure. We have a number of specialists across the UK. We have around about 29 technical heads split across the AC space, manufacturing and some development. And most of us have come from industry with experience and knowledge of software as well to help push forward your needs and requirements. We do offer a training in the subjects or the software that we are selling and providing, and also in the areas of helping others implement BIM throughout their daily work. Classroom training we offer, we can provide essential training in all the different variations of software. And we provide support afterwards as well for more training. Our bespoke training, we can customize any agenda or any sort of training that anyone's interested in their own needs. So for example, say you came along and did essential training at one of our designated training centres, we could come along and bespoke some further training in-house and work live on a project at the same time if required. One thing that is a key thing when implementing things like new software, and maybe it's updating your current standards, is making sure that your standards are up to date to suit the latest requirements. Also, your templates have all the information appropriately, so all the users are using the right information. We can help build and implement those throughout your organisation. We can align the standards against what you've got existingly. For example, if you're moving to Revit, against your CAD standards. We can also, if required, come along and assist with your current work, whether it's sitting along the lines of project support, so you need some help with the project, it's not quite going the right way, and we can guide you through in the processes and help implement new things where required. And obviously align any standards to suit where projects need to be changed slightly. We've just implemented a new support desk. We've recently done this just before Christmas, and it's been a vast improvement from our client's point of view in helping, because we have a designated team now that's going to be looking after you daily. We hope to respond to you as soon as we can, but we've put an initial 2-hour response time, so we hope to have your needs and your problems sorted as soon as possible to prevent the downtime for yourselves. We've also quite recently signed with Globally Training. It's an online training centre which helps provide training not just in BIM solutions, but obviously things like Microsoft as well, and the accredited Autodesk training programs. This is not a replacement for general training, but it's a good tool for afterwards, once you've had training, for refreshers, to look at, see how your knowledge is improved, where you're at with your needs within the software. This is a brief look at what it looks like when you log on. Obviously, it gives you a bit of information in bite-sized text. There is some nice little images and e-tips that are up there as well, live video tutorials you can go through, and even download practical exercises to go through. It gives you little exams at the end just to see what you picked up and whether you're knowledgeable in that area. So just to give you an idea, these are some of our clients that we've worked with in the AEC space, in the manufacturing space and the infrastructure space. Obviously, we're working hard with all our clients who are potentially looking at BIM and moving forward and need a lot of assistance. We're trying our best to push them forward and help wherever we can. So just to highlight, obviously, like I said earlier, we don't just sell the Autodesk software and support, train and consult with that. We also have our own software, and we've been developing these in the background for a good few years now, and obviously we're pushing forward with these at the moment. One of the key things that I've been dealing with myself is the Power Pack for Revit. Now, with the Build Design Suite, you'll see here we get all the Autodesk products related to AutoCAD. Things like 3D Max and Showcase are available. Navisworks for clash detection, and obviously Revit for all your disciplines, with some robot structural analysis tools as well, so you can do full analysis on the building, and Inventor, so obviously you can do your manufacturing. And at the end there you can see there's a little eye which is for your InfraWorks, so you can do your concept early stage design for your site. As I just mentioned a moment ago, obviously Power Pack for Revit is a tool that we've introduced quite recently. It's for all our current and potentially new clients who have signed up and got their subscriptions through us. You'll get that for free as part of here. It's also available on the Autodesk App Exchange to buy as well. What it is aimed at is it will do the things that Revit can't do. So for example, there might be something that you think actually Revit could do that better. Hopefully we've already built it into our Power Pack. If not, that's something we'll look at in the near future. We're always looking at ways how we can improve how the software works. Obviously, other solutions are things like the infrastructure design, where this is mainly aimed at the site. So for example, your Civil 3D and map. InfraWorks is obviously a good solution for early stage concept design, so you can put in or you can link in Revit models, AutoCAD data, etc. inside the model. Just one thing to note before we go, we're here to help you. We're looking at helping you in the best possible way to realize what you need, hopefully invest in the software that you require, and with us there to help you push forward and utilize the tools in the best possible way and get the most out of what you require. I hope that's been as of use for you today. I would like to say thank you for attending, and if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat if you require now, or send me an email later on, or get in touch with one of my colleagues at the offices. So that's enough from me today. Thank you very much. I hope you found it useful and hope to see you again. Thank you.